Like many places nowadays, California has big problems. High unemployment, major budget deficits, partisan gridlock, special interest domination, and so forth. There's no relief in sight. Fortunately, we now have the technology to represent ourselves directly on the internet. We can take back our government and reform and redesign it to solve our problems successfully. We can begin by taking California's IR&R system online. This will make the system accessible to any citizen, not just the wealthy special interests. We can then decide exactly how much government we want and are willing to pay for. We can create e-democracy now. Hopefully, the rest of the world will soon follow. To do this, California needs to create a special IR&R internet application. It will register voters securely online, just as we do with e-banking, e-commerce, and so forth. It will open the citizen reform and redesign discussion online. It will allow the filing of petitions online resulting from those discussions. It will allow secure signature gathering online. If the threshold is met, perhaps 400 to 700,000 signatures for a statewide initiative, it then proceeds with objective benefit cost analyses, modeling and simulation of probable outcomes, all of this online. It then allows an or conventional ballot vote on the proposition when citizens are ready and as they prefer. And/or it can allow the legislature to create a referendum using the same process to gather citizen preferences. Using this process, we will create e-democracy and solve our problems. Our representative government system was designed almost 250 years ago and is now basically outmoded. We now have the technology to represent ourselves directly online, and we certainly should. When we adopt e-democracy, our satisfaction should improve greatly, and with it the quality of life. We should start with the initiative, referendum, and recall. And California would be an ideal place to start. Hello, I'm John Sir, retired architect and sometime urban designer and teacher. I've been working on e-democracy since 1970. The public is now so dissatisfied with the performance and cost of government that reform may finally be possible. I certainly hope so, and I hope you will agree. So California has long had an IR&R system and a tradition of using it, sometimes to good avail, sometimes not. Taking it online and making it easier for any citizen to use, not just the wealthy special interests who can afford paid signature gatherers and who are dominating the process now, that should help to solve those problems. Also, the online discussion and analysis phases should assure citizens will be well informed and the propositions well designed. If you need more information on California's IR&R system, I suggest that you visit ballotpedia.org at the URL shown here. The solution then is to link everybody together online and then redesign society for the optimum quality of life. You can do that by adopting the initiative, referendum, and recall, then move on to redesign the government online for e-democracy. We can fully inform all people there. We can monitor the quality of life continuously. We can act to maintain it at the optimum level always. We can solve our pressing problems and create peace, prosperity, and sustainability. Our redesign goal is to optimize the value of the design, which is approximately equal to the ratio of benefits over costs. And when that's optimized, then that would lead to the optimum quality of life. In this case, benefits would be defined by the people online themselves, and costs also to some extent. The design process illustrated here can be speeded up and improved online, particularly with use of animated graphics, models, and simulations. The IR&R process is similar. It should be available to any citizen, online or off, not just the moneyed special interests who can afford to pay signature gatherers now. That's the major stumbling block to its current use. Also, it would enable voting whenever citizens were ready rather than at regular election times, speeding up response to problems. Pause if you want to examine this in more detail. Some background. Democracy goes back to Greek times, of course. This idea of John Locke at the time of the American Revolution can now be carried out online. So that idea led to the American Declaration of Independence, of which Thomas Jefferson was a primary author. If you read through it, it sounds remarkably appropriate to today. Here's a quotation from the beginning of the Declaration. You may want to pause on it and pay a particular attention to the second paragraph there. Jefferson was also an architect. This is his design for the University of Virginia. This idea of Jefferson's can now be carried out online. People can be well and fully informed, and they can be entrusted with their own government. Buckminster Fuller has been a major influence with his design science revolution. He proposed the computerized world game to optimize the design of the entire world. This included a competition versus cooperation game in which cooperation always produced the highest total score. That's important today when we're thinking about optimizing the aggregate quality of life. In the 1930s, he proposed to vote by phone. In the 1960s or 70s, he proposed continuous electronic referendum. He was probably best known for his design of the geodesic dome. In 1992, Ross Perot ran for the presidency on the Reform Party ticket and proposed electronic town halls then. He didn't win, and he has not pursued the idea since, unfortunately. So, citizens could reform and design California online, solving today's problems and creating the government they want and are willing to pay for. How can this be implemented? First, let's form a group. Let's raise sufficient funding. Let's advertise to bring the idea to the people. Then, let's adopt IR&R by an initiative amending the California Constitution. Then we can apply the process and optimize our quality of life continuously thereafter. Please join the Reform and Redesign California group today at the URL shown. Thank you. And for more information, please visit the Democracy Now! Video on YouTube, or search for it, or click on the URL shown below.